Unlike other movies, this one is a compilation of various incidents that have occurred in the history of the Green Lantern Corps. It's more of an anecdote that revolves around the story of several Green Lanterns. Moving on, the film begins on Oa, which is a planet situated in the center of the universe. As it is one of the oldest planets, the Green Lantern Corps use it as its main base. As the movie progresses, we see Arija Arab, a rookie lantern who is as green as her newly acquired ring, running around the Green Lantern Corps headquarters. It appears that a major emergency has arisen. After a while of running, Arija finds herself in a room where the Corps are discussing something serious. A long time ago, the Guardians of the Universe created the Green Lantern Corps as an intergalactic peacekeeping force. Every Green Lantern on the team is chosen based on their willpower and given a power ring that allows them to control energy constructs. Continuing on, the Corps appear to be joined by tall, grayish-blue humanoids who are none other than the Guardians of the Universe. They are immortal beings who were also the founders of the Green Lantern Corps. When Arija finally joins her fellow Lanterns, she quickly realizes that they are meeting in order to celebrate the memorial of Ardakian, another Green Lantern who was recently eliminated by shadow demons. As the meeting progresses, Arija finds herself in the middle of a serious threat to the Green Lantern Corps. Crona, an immensely powerful antimatter alien, has managed to transform the son of the Green Lantern homeworld into a portal for him to travel from his antimatter dimension into the matter dimension. He is a dangerous entity that seeks to destroy all forms of life. As a precaution, the Guardians decide to transport all valuables off-world for safekeeping. Of course, this includes the central battery. Green Lanterns would be unable to recharge their rings if the central battery fell into the wrong hands. While the Lanterns wait for their rings to be recharged, Arija strikes up a conversation with Hal Jordan. She is anxious about wearing a ring of such immense power. The very fidgety rookie is unsure if she is physically fit enough to be a Green Lantern. Seeing the girl's predicament, Hal begins telling her the new recruit stories of various other Lanterns from the Corps history. The first story is about Avra. During the very beginning, the Guardians assembled all the greatest warriors of the universe and revealed the first 4 rings of power to them. Each ring has the ability to choose its own ring bearer. The first 3 rings quickly chose their owners, following the selection of Jihu, Washit, and Blue by their respective rings. The 4th ring paused in front of a warrior before doing something completely unexpected by the Guardians. Even though he was only a humble scribe, Avra was chosen as a ring bearer by the last of the first 4 rings. Everyone was shocked to see that Avra had no prior experience as a warrior. Shortly after, the 4 ring bearers, including Jihu, Washit, and Blue, were tasked with putting a stop to Dominator aggression. The Dominators are an aggressive species that invades solar system after solar system. Blue was the first Green Lantern to be sadly eliminated in combat. Despite Jihu and Washit's feelings that defeat was imminent, Avra managed to find the willpower to fight on. Avra forged the first construct from his ring using the power of his imagination, which he had developed during his many years as a scribe for the Guardians. Soon enough, Avra used his new weapon, a green sword, in the battle against the Dominator and went on to easily defeat them. Jihu and Washit followed Avra's lead and used their imaginations to create weapons. Eventually, the battle was won all because of Avra and the power of Hua Mind. It was discovered that, when combined with the ring bearer's imagination, one could build constructs that would be very useful in carrying out missions. Keeping in mind what Avra accomplished in that first battle, construct creation became the standard for all Green Lanterns. Avra then quickly rose to prominence within the Green Lantern Corps after being the first to recognize the benefits of combining willpower and imagination. Time went by quickly and Avra passed away. However, with his passing, the ring chose a new ring bearer. The ring moved from ring bearer to ring bearer with each passing Green Lantern until it landed on the hand of Abin Sur. Just as Hal finishes the first story, Arija accidentally runs into Kilowog. Kilowog, who was just behind Arija in the line, collided with her due to the latter's slow nature. We soon discover that Kilowog is indeed the head drill sergeant for the entire Green Lantern Corps. Kilowog then uses this opportunity to remind Arija that, as a rookie, she is required to attend boot camp. He tells her flatly that there are no exceptions. When Hal notices Arija becoming nervous, he begins to tell her everything about Kilowog and his extremely lethal Great Sergeant Deegan. Hal claims that, while Kilowog may appear harsh, he is nothing more than an overgrown teddy bear in comparison to the Great Sergeant Deegan. Soon after, the second story, which revolves around Kilowog, begins back in the day. When Kilowog was nothing more than a rookie of similar standing to where Arija is now, Deegan was fearless. He had high expectations for the rookies he was training. Deegan used to take his rookies to the most dangerous locations after removing their rings, one of which was an erupting volcano. During that drastic time, Deegan abandoned Kilowog and all the other Lanterns in an active volcano. All that he said after was that he wanted to see what they are capable of. The Lanterns made every effort to climb up, but the volcano erupted. However, Deegan saved them in the nick of time. The sergeant then transported them once more to a desert during a sandstorm. That's when one of the Lanterns got buried in the sand. Thankfully, Kilowog jumped in to save him and was successful. Kilowog finally confronted the drill sergeant angrily because of the dangerous circumstances. Soon, Deegan was accused of reckless endangerment by Kilowog. The two had a brief fight, but an emergency order kept them apart. Deegan had received intel to lead his recruits into battle as the Khunds had attacked a planet. Before heading to the crisis zone, Deegan deliberately dropped Kilowog's ring. However, something about the drill sergeant's facial expression suggests a new understanding between them both. Kilowog picked up the ring and got ready for battle. In the war area, Deegan directed the rookie to secure and protect the refugees from harm before engaging the enemy. Deegan engaged the invaders while the refugees were safely taken away. By the time Kilowog arrived to help Deegan, he was already gone. Despite this, Kilowog successfully destroyed the invading army with renewed zeal. After returning to Deegan's side, Kilowog finally revealed that he would never have let his rookies to eternal sleep. Deegan then delegated his authority to Kilowog before dying. Kilowog eventually completed his mission with the help of the other recruits. After finishing the second story, Hal and Arisia arrive at the Green Lantern's established border patrol. There, they wait for Crona to arrive. Just then, another lantern, Laira Moto, begins speaking about the Delphic prophecy while levitating in the lotus position. When Hal sees Laira, he begins telling Arisia her story. Hal's third story, about Laira Moto, begins as follows. Laira was once a princess, with charges leveled against her people, charges that implied unprovoked attacks on the Khunds. Laira's first solo mission as a Green Lantern took her back to her homeworld. When Laira arrived in her homeworld, she was greeted by Ryu, her father's mistress. Furious, Laira defeated both Ryu and her sadistic brother, Rubin, before meeting her father, Kentora Moto. Kentor's Laira had initially suspected Ryu and Rubin of the unprovoked attacks on the Khunds. Because of this, she attacked them. However, she soon discovered that the war crimes were committed by her own father. Enraged that the ring chose Laira over him, Kentor was ready to do anything and everything to get it. The embarrassment was just unbearable for him. Soon enough, Kentor tried to provoke Laira into giving up her ring to him as he believed Laira wasn't worthy of wearing a ring of such power. However, Laira refused, which caused the two to start battling one another. Laira eventually gave up all her ties to her biological family and her homeworld to join the Green Lantern Corps. Despite the fact that the brutal battle initially favored Kentor, Laira defeats her father. After losing the fight, Kentor finally admitted he was wrong about Laira. Unable to cope, he committed suicide in order to regain his honor. For his final words before passing away, Kentor declared that he was immensely proud of Laira. After the third story is finished, the scene returns to the border patrol. Crona's return is still awaited by the Green Lanterns. They're all nervous, to say the least. Except for MoGo, the entire Green Lantern Corps is ready to take down Crona. Arisia becomes intrigued when every lantern at the border begins to talk about the anti-social MoGo. She's curious about MoGo and why he doesn't like to socialize. Arisia's intrigue eventually leads to the fourth story, which revolves around MoGo. The story begins with Balfunga the Unrelenting, who is known throughout the universe for his relentless, unrelenting nature. Balfunga is the prototypical warmonger, obsessed with brutality. He doesn't wait for fights to come to him. Instead, he goes looking for them. Nothing makes Balfunga happier than defeating the universe's most powerful warriors. Initially believing he was about to defeat the universe's last great warrior, his latest conquest, a volcanic being of immense might, reveals there is one warrior he will never defeat. MoGo, the Green Lantern, is the one warrior no one wants to face off against. Even though there is almost no information available when Balfunga asks his computer about MoGo, there is a reference to a mysterious green planet. Balfunga begins his search for the elusive MoGo as soon as he arrives on the planet. Despite the fact that there are numerous power signatures indicating the presence of the Green Lantern, Balfunga is no closer to finding MoGo than he was the day he arrived. Balfunga, frustrated by his lack of progress, decides to set off explosives all over the world to smoke out his query. When the planet extinguishes the fires caused by the numerous explosions, Balfunga is astounded to discover that MoGo has been hiding in plain sight the entire time. Balfunga does something completely out of character after realizing he is on the planet MoGo. He finally gives up and attempts to flee the planet. MoGo easily captures Balfunga because he is a living sentient planet. Crona's shadow demons have arrived and are on the attack. Just as Hal finishes the fourth story, Sinestro, thankfully, saves Hal and Arisia. At that point, Sinestro, another lantern, brings up the prophecy about Oa's destruction. Sinestro tells Arisia about the time he and Abin Sur captured Atrocitus, which piques Arisia's interest. The final story, centered on Abin Sur and Sinestro, begins. Hal's predecessor, Abin Sur, was a well-known Green Lantern. His ring had previously been worn by the first Green Lantern. In this tale, Abin Sur is fighting Atrocitus. He is one of the 5 inversions and always speaks of dark prophecies. At one point of time, Abin Sur captures Atrocitus with the help of Sinestro. The two of them continue to talk about Atrocitus and his dark prophecies shortly after capturing him. While Science-Tro maintained that he did not believe in destiny, Abin Sur did. Abin Sur is a firm believer in fate. After parting ways with Science-Tro, Abin Sur transported Atrocitus to the notorious prison planet, Usmalt. Before being imprisoned, Atrocitus mentions Abin Sur's impending eternal sleep. Unlike many people, Abin Sur does not fear eternal sleep because it is a natural part of life. One of Atrocitus' many prophecies involves Science-Tro becoming evil and using yellow energy to destroy the Green Lantern Corps. Even though Atrocitus insists Science-Tro will form his own Lantern Corps based on fear, Abin Sur does not believe the criminal. Abin Sur refuses to believe that Science-Tro, one of his closest friends, would betray the Green Lanterns and his responsibilities. In the end, Atrocitus is imprisoned forever and Abin Sur is successful in his mission. Just as Science-Tro wraps up the Abin Sur story, Crona arrives with his army. Crona, a colossal foe, emerges from the Oa sun, and he is not alone. He's brought shadow demons along with him. Despite the presence of numerous shadow demons, Green Lanterns fight the incursion with tenacity. The Lanterns become increasingly powerful as time passes. Because so many Green Lanterns have already passed away, the remaining Lanterns are forced to retreat. The Green Lantern Corps requires an effective strategy to defeat Crona at this critical juncture. Surprisingly, Arisia comes up with the plan. Arisia suggests that since Crona is an antimatter being, they use an equal or greater amount of matter to eliminate him. When antimatter and matter collide, they form a dangerous combination that could eventually destroy Crona. The remaining Green Lanterns agree to Arisia's plan and line up behind Oa. The entire planet is then pushed towards Crona. Given its mass, the planet should be able to destroy the antimatter creature. Crona, on the other hand, cleverly uses his shadow demons to push the planet back, making the Green Lanterns even weaker. Just then, MoGo appears in the nick of time. MoGo, the living planet, assists the Corps in achieving its goal by utilizing his own mass and Green Lantern power. Crona and Oa are both forced into the sun by a final push. Even though Crona is destroyed, Oa suffers greatly as a result. The prophecy about Oa's destruction has come true. Towards the end, the Corps begin to plan the construction of a new Oa. However, until they are successful in finding a new planet, MoGo volunteers to serve as a temporary base. Finally, the film concludes with Arisia having her own story written in the encyclopedic Book of Oa.